Good evening, and welcome to another live session. Every night, live on this channel, and I read the live comments. People come in, they join the chat, and you can leave a comment or you cannot leave a comment. I can't see the people on the other end of this, whether you have a real profile or fake profile. I can't see it. Um, but I enjoy doing it, and I'm not scared to put myself out there. In life, you're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to go on job interviews. You're going to have to face this world. Um, and hey, Sophie on the live checking, good to see you. Facing the world and putting yourself out there is a cause for a lot of people to mentally break down. Many people don't get jobs because of that mental fear of going on a job interview and it being too mentally hard, not physically, but mentally. I was on my laptop at a fresh market. A fresh market is like a supermarket, a higher end one, like a Whole Foods down here in Florida. And there was a young lady who was interviewing. The manager took her outside, there's an outside area where you can sit and you can use free Wi-Fi. And so I was doing my thing on the laptop, and then the manager brought this applicant that was applying for a job out there, and he was interviewing her. And as he was interviewing her, he was looking at her resume, and he was like, he has to make an assessment. He has to judge her. He has to ask her questions. She has to ask him questions. It's a back and forth, like mental sparring match, not doing any physical work. And it made me flash back to all the times I went on job interviews, all the times I've been through that process and how mentally intimidating it is, and how people have a mental breakdown as far as just not being able to get to the point where you put yourself out there and you either deal with rejection or you either deal with success. Because sometimes people are actually afraid that they're going to get the job because then they have to mentally show up every day. The hardest part every day when I wake up is the mental pressures of knowing what lies ahead of me. It's enough to cause a mental breakdown. That's why most people, I truly believe now, at a mature place in my life, most people don't get a job. It is, there's always going to be some that are just lazy. As part of life, no matter what. But there's a lot that just mentally can't deal with life. It's more interesting when you hear someone had a mental breakdown than a physical breakdown. It's very intriguing. They had a mental breakdown? What happened? Because you're on the verge of a mental breakdown at any moment. It's interesting. What would they call it like rubbernecking when you pass by a car accident on the side. There was a car accident, they're on the side of the road, but people just stop. They don't have to stop, but they stop and they look. They want to see what happened. I think people are more curious about mental breakdowns than physical breakdowns. I think the mind is an intriguing thing. I think people can easily get lost in their mind. I think monsters live in your head, not under your bed. What causes mental breakdowns? Like most things in life, there's not one answer to everybody's situation, but in a general term, to speak in general terms, stress. Stress causes the breakdown. If you put enough pressure on something, it will break. That's stress. What's mental stress? Mental stress can come from too many responsibilities. Initially, you like the idea of a promotion. Initially, you like the idea of having kids. Initially, you like the idea of moving. But then the reality of it takes a lot of mental wherewithal to actually change your address, to change your driver's license, to sell a property, to buy a property, to learn a new county, to learn a new state. It takes a lot of mental wherewithal to learn a new job, learn how to enter your time, learn how to deal with their computer system, learn how to just go through their unique system. Of course, having a child is probably one of the hardest things you could do. Having a pet is a hard thing to do. But how do you deal with having a pet, having a job, having anything new, anything that can bring stress? You take it one day at a time. You take it one step at a time. Sometimes in the morning when I'm ready to have a mental breakdown, like I don't want to do this anymore, the first thing I always say to myself is show up. Showing up is always the first step. If you ever get lost in your mind and you get overwhelmed and you get scared, just show up. Show up and figure it out after you show up. Once you show up, that's the first step. When I was sitting at Fresh Stop and this manager was interviewing this young girl for the job, he said to herself, we'll start you off part-time because we don't hire anyone off the street full-time. You have to start part-time, and then as you build your credibility, you're almost guaranteed to get a full-time position. But he even said this, and I always tell you guys this, he said the number one thing we're going to judge you on is your attendance. Your reliability, showing up. So if showing up is the number one part of life and how to sustain forward momentum, because whatever you do in life, the bottom line is always the first step, no matter what you do in life, the gym, your job, a family, whatever, it's showing up. And so why do people not show up? I ask myself that. I know why. Because it's mentally hard. Mentally, not physically, mentally hard to show up. Why is it mentally hard? It's mentally hard because the mind is overwhelmed. The mind knows that it's in for some pain. You have to solve problems at work. Now, if you're working at Fresh Market, maybe you have to stack shelves. So maybe the mind is willing to deal with that because it's not as grueling as project management or construction or different jobs that may be harder to solve more problems. But another thing that causes stress and causes a mental breakdown is dealing of relationships. The other thing he said to this girl that was being interviewed, you're going to be measured on two things. You're going to be measured on your attendance, how reliable you are. That will show if we give you a full-time job, and if you can get along with the coworkers, because those are the two core. I'd always say that, and that's the two core things. Now, of course, this is like an entry-level position, but again, look, you start wherever you have to start in life, and there's nothing wrong if that's your max capacity. But people can have a mental breakdown of just being too scared to show up for a job interview. There was, in my younger days, there was a job interview I got to be like a maintenance person at Montclair State University in New Jersey. Now, I remember I was just getting ready to leave the electrical union, and this was before I got my electrical contracting license, and I was kind of like, and one of those crossroads in my career trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And I remember I got the job interview for this college like maintenance person. And I remember I just last minute I got my car, I got dressed up, last minute I just backed out. And I think I backed out because I didn't want to go, but also because it's just, I think I didn't really like that. I didn't really look there. I can't say I've ever really fully loved work. Work is work. Are there some people that fully love their job? Very few. It's a small percentage, if any. That's the honest answer of life. So, because sometimes if you have enough love for something, you're willing to get past the mental pain. But the less love you have for something and the more stress, the more you mentally break down. It's a mental tennis match every day. Every day, Obviously, look, you need your physical well-being. There's no doubt about that. I mean, of course, we could talk about that a million times. I lost 200 pounds. I could talk a lot about physical. I could talk a lot about how the physical well-being is wrapped into the mental well-being. I could talk a lot about how obesity is tied into a mental issue. I could talk a lot of how anorexia is tied into a mental issue. They're all tied together. I mean, mind, body, and soul. So part of it's showing up, but showing up is very hard mentally. Very hard. And then the next part, even after you show up, it's then consistency, showing up every day. You get the job interview, then you get the job, then you have to keep showing up. And then you just get tired of everything in life. You're willing to deal with that much pain because you get to a point, especially as you're younger and you're making your way in life, you got enough energy, you got enough wherewithal. You say, I'm going to get through all this. I'll bull my way through it. And as you get older, your tolerance for that mental resistance, it starts to diminish. And just like equipment, just like your car has a higher likelihood of breaking down the older it gets. So do we. Our cells start to deteriorate after pretty much 40. There's always exceptions, but I feel as I get older, I'm 38 now. I feel, I obviously I've got to a point where a big part of minimalism, me selling my house, living simple, living out of one bag, living in my cars, I wanted to eliminate as much stress as possible. Because I realized that really stress does deteriorate your quality of life. It really does. What are the top 3 things that causes stress? The number 1 is relationships. Number 2 is money. I forgot number 3, maybe health problems. But I remember looking that up. I know the number 1 cause of stress, keeping people up at night, was relationships. The number 2 is money. And those vary. There'll be times in your life, where your relationships are great, and then they're not. Times in your life where you may feel like you're printing money. And then there'll be times in your life like, you're never going to have enough money. There's different seasons. Tides come in, tides come out. There's high tide, there's low tide. Do I have compassion on people that mentally break down? Yeah, I do. Do I think some people play the mental breakdown game and blame everything on mental issues? I do. Does that make me want to take away all my compassion for the mental struggle of life? No, it doesn't. How do you know who is really struggling mentally and who's playing a game? You could go by your gut. You can go by your own evaluation. I mean, I realize God has given me a level of mental endurance maybe above average. There's certain people that have different gifts that I don't have. So I'm not saying that, but, I realize that, and I don't say that pridefully. I say it by the grace of God, but I feel the pressure on my mind. I feel my pressure to solve problems at work, to solve problems in my life. How do I combat with them? Again, I just kind of show up and I try to break everything down to small steps, and I try to be practical. I try to resist conflict, definitely at the workplace. I mean, again, you're really measured in your career showing up consistently and trying to get along with others. There's some people very hard to get along with. It's just the way it is. But I think as you get older, you just had enough of everything, and you start to feel it. You go through some losses in life. People pass away, pets pass away, seasons of life change, things get different, and it all starts to take an accumulative effect on you. I often say, it's never the overweight person that breaks the camel's back. It's the straw. The straw that breaks the camel's back is basically a saying to say that what pushes people over the edge is not necessarily one big thing. It's an accumulative effect of many small things that add up, and a person just has enough. It's a breakdown. So I think you avoid a breakdown by trying not to let it get to that point. How do you avoid it getting to that point? I mean, I think you show up every day as best you can. But if you're stuck in a season where you're not showing up and now you got to change it, how do you, because there's nothing you can do. Once the milk is spilt, you can't put it back in the carton. So, you can't beat yourself up. You can have your circle beating yourself. I mean, that's how I always say. That's why I don't really tolerate people that just don't get me, because you're fighting the world your whole day. Why would you want to come home, or why would you want to share your life with people that you're fighting with too? It's like then you really have a breakdown. You got to have some place where you feel safe and you have fun and you're excited about life a little bit, or you feel supported. But I wanted to just bring up the topic. I mean, I always write down different topics I want to talk about. Obviously, as I get older and I experience life, I think mental health. I mean, mental health now is more of a talking point of life. And this is obviously related to mental health, but just the mental breakdown of life. Not necessarily like mental health issues, because again, everyone has mental health issues, but the breakdown of the mental game of life. The breakdown always starts with one thing. It's like, the less you show up to your life every day, the more you start to break down, because there's more pressure. And you get caught in a cycle where it's hard to get out. And I've been there. And then when you're caught like in a low tide and things aren't going good, well, how do you get back up without breaking down completely? One foot in front of the other. I could search for some magical answer, but I'll never forget that one guy. When I was living in the condo community in New Jersey, I owned a condo for 15 years. When I was living there, the last couple of years, I really started to walk around the community. I was trying to get my health back and get in shape. And I would meet a lot of people on my walks, and I met an older guy. And I was asking him about life. What's your biggest life lesson that you've learned? What's the most painful experience? And he was a college professor, and his wife was a psychiatrist. He said, well, Sam, me and my wife are very much into education. That's our background. That's what we enjoy. And he goes, so I think for me, the hardest part about life, or the most painful moment, was when we had our child, and our child was born with a disability, a severe learning disability. And it crushed our hopes. Crushed hopes can lead to a mental breakdown. A failed business, money lost in an investment, money lost gambling, or a relationship lost. You invested 2 years into a relationship and now it's over. Those lead to a breakdown. Those are hopes that were crushed. So he was saying that our hope was that our child would be also into education, and we would that would be our legacy, and that's how we would live our life. And then when we learned that there's no hope, our child is never going to be able to learn at a certain level, it crushed us. So how'd you deal with it? I was like wide-eyed. I was like, well, I got to know, what's the answer to life then? When your hope is crushed, how do you get back up? I was like, this guy's got to tell me something. And he thought about for me, smiled, because he's trying to think what to tell me. And then he just shook his head. He said, Sam, just put one foot in front of the other. What can I tell you? And that's it. I mean, I guess you just try not to totally break down, and you just put one foot in front of the other. Not easy. As you get older, not easy. But that's kind of like my opening thing. I went a little bit longer than I normally go. But I got to be free to use my creativity. Now I'm going to all live comments. I'll read each and every one, so keep leaving them. Thank you for everyone who leaves a comment. I appreciate that. And if you like these videos, if they help, please click the thumbs up button. Please share it. That's love. Sophie again with the cat emoji. Hey, Sam. Jada. Hello and blessings to you always. Well, thank you, Jada. I appreciate that. I do believe in mind, body, and soul. I know I have some great friends in here, even part of this channel. They're atheists. It's all love and respect to them. I definitely don't believe in forcing your faith on other people. But I do believe for me personally, it's up to you. You should do whatever you want. Spirituality, healthy spirituality, not religion, helps. Uh, but of course, if life gets bad enough, you hate everything and you question God. It's true. Even Job did it. It's true. So, I say that tongue in cheek, but I do say that, spirituality is part of my life. Silent River. What's good, Sam? What's going on? Hope all is well for you today. Yeah, all is well. It's the middle of the week as I make this. It's a Wednesday, depending on when you watch this. I know everyone here is live now, but some people watch the replay the next day. So, midway through the week, it's not a Monday, so that's positive. It's not a Friday, so people aren't super excited. Of course, it's the holidays where people are planning vacation, get ready to get off. But, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just like, I'm thankful to be down in Florida. Every day I say that. It matters to me. Where you live, life is never going to be perfect. How do you avoid a mental breakdown? I think part of it is trying to figure out how you can live where you want to live. I do. I was talking to a guy in Phoenix today, and we were talking, and I asked him, well, what's the temperature in Phoenix? He goes, oh, about 70 degrees. And I go, all right, well, it's about the same thing here. He goes, really? Where are you at? I go, Florida. He goes, oh, okay, that makes sense. I go, but I spent most of my life in New Jersey. He goes, wow, that's a big change moving from New Jersey to Florida. I said, yeah, I had to do it, for my well-being, mind, body, and soul, to have sunlight and to be outside in the winter. And I said, I had to. He goes, well, I can understand that. I said, so he said, well, is that your final resting spot? I said, yeah. I said, I pretty much, I want to die here. And I asked him, well, what do you think about Phoenix? He goes, well, yeah, this is where I love the mountains. I love the desert. I said, well, that's a blessing. It's a blessing to live where you want to live. And I think if you can simplify your life, if you don't have many expenses, I think you can reposition your life to live where you want to live. The first step to moving is liquidation. When you liquidate your assets, when you liquidate your expenses, you have more flexibility to move. And that's step one. What's the first step to get your ass to Florida or Phoenix or wherever you want to go? It's liquidate, it's sell. That gives you flexibility to change. Doug, what's up, Doug? New Mexico's in the house. Sam, I caught you live. Great to have you, brother. You're a great viewer. You're a great man. I appreciate it. And I know you're struggling. I know it's got to be mentally challenging for you, Doug. Doug is a salesman who's been out of work for a little while. His unemployment's getting ready to run out. I've been there. I remember getting a job the last week of my unemployment. I was like answer to prayer. There's been a couple times in my life where I was really in bad shape financially. I remember I never took out payday loans, but I remember I took out a couple like personal loans, like when unemployment was running out and things were getting tough. And it is a scary feeling. It could cause a mental breakdown. But then you got to realize, look, everyone's naked. Look, if shit really got that bad, I mean, it is what it is. They can't get blood from a stone. But proactively try to get your foot in the door anywhere. And I always say the best time to get a job is when you currently have a job. So what does that mean? That means, look, even if, like I kind of said last night, even if you got to work at Target to start, to get your foot in the door somewhere, while you're working at Target, making $10, $12 an hour, apply to a different job that you really want for your career and just keep the wheels lubed up, so to speak. That would be what I said. But I'm thinking about you, Doug. I'm praying for you, Colin. Hey, Colin, what's up, man? Hey, Sam. Sophie, the internet in Alabama is horrible, so I lose connection. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, because I got pretty good free Wi-Fi. You're in Alabama? Wow, Sophie was just in Florida. She came from California to Florida. Job opportunity didn't work out, and that's okay. They don't always work out. Well, good luck to you on your travels. Sophie, do I want to go to Alabama? No, and it's all love and respect to Alabama. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go back to New Jersey. I don't want to go to Georgia. I don't want to go to California. I don't want to go to Texas. I love and I respect wherever you want to be. It's love, but I love Florida. For me, this is it. Why go anywhere else? I don't really want to. I mean, I know like some people enjoy travel and seeing different things, and I can understand that. But I mean, I know life, this is about as good as life's going to get. Until I get, independently wealthy, then life get a little bit better. There's nothing wrong with that. Ben, hey Sam, it's cold here in Massachusetts. Well, that's why I got the hell out of up north. I hope you're enjoying Florida. Yes, the cold front in Florida is just about over. Today it was 72 degrees Fahrenheit, South Florida. North Florida is colder. Today when I was at Starbucks, there was a guy that came, and in the morning, like people had like light jackets on. So the guy said, "Wow, you got your jacket on? I can't believe I'm in Florida." And he goes, "But I'm from Florida. I'm from Tallahassee." He goes, "But Tallahassee ain't Florida. It's cold up there." And it's true. North Florida, Florida's a big state. North Florida could be very cold, not very cold, but it could be cold in the winter. And it's a different atmosphere. It's a different culture. North Florida is a different culture. East coast of Florida has a different culture. West coast and South and Orlando, they're all different. Which good or worse? It all depends who you are and what you like. It's all personal preference. Love and respect to Massachusetts, Ben. Good to see you, man. Hope you had a great day, brother. Hydration break, guys. Drink more water, man. Don't spill it on your shirt. Unless you only have a couple shirts. When you live a minimalistic life, do I care if I spill something on my shirt? No. I remember when I used to get all dressed up in a Versace shirt and be all dressed up for the weekend. If I spilled something on my shirt, I'd have a mental breakdown. It's true. Like when I'm all dressed up and I got my brand new underwear on and I was all ready to go out, I would spill something, I would have a mental breakdown. Now I spill something, I don't give a shit. I'm not even wearing underwear. That's the best part about life. Good job. Leno, greetings from Fort Worth, Texas. Love and respect to the Lone Star State. Good to see you, Glenn. Hope your dog... Glenn has some dogs that he loves, Shih Tzus. Glenn, give your dog a new bone tonight. A treat. I had a boxer dog for 10 years, loved the dog. I spent about $400 a month on my boxer. That's the truth. Now, some people get upset with me when I say my average budget is about $2,500 a month living out of my car. But that's the truth. I can lie to you, but that's the truth. And when I had a dog, the truth is I probably on average spent about $400 a month on my dog. That's the truth. Think about it. They're expensive. If you want to spoil them. I used to love to spoil my dog, Colin. My car camp trip to Florida was the best. Colin, man, good. I'm glad, man. Look, it's all about taking the small steps to the nomad life. I was thinking about that today. I said, Sam, remember when you went up to Vermont? And remember when you went to Pittsburgh? Remember when you went here? And I went all these different places, and mentally it was tough to push myself to do it. But I did it. But I realized that not everyone has that mental thing. I think for some people, things just don't click, or they're not able to get over that hurdle. Some people have physical strength more than others. Some people have mental strength more than others. There's no one answer. But mental strength is a big part of life. It is. And I think you realize that more as you get older. I really think, people, think about this real quick. Think about how big the gym industry is. Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Crunch, Anytime Fitness, Gold Gym back in the day. Gym memberships, they're getting ready to skyrocket with the new year. All people will have a New Year's resolution to get their physical health together. What if there were mental gyms? If physical strength is something people aspire to, why don't people aspire for mental strength? Mental strength is a huge part of life. When you have to apply to a job, when you have to go to a job, you need mental strength. And there's no mental gyms. What's a mental gym? I think to gain strength mentally, I think you have to eliminate the unnecessary. Every decision you make deteriorates your mental capacity. The more clothes you have, the more trappings, the more belongings, there's nothing wrong with them, but they weigh on the mind. And that's part of the cumulative effect, in my opinion, of a mental breakdown. Because the more you have to think about, and the less capacity you have. And I think if there was a mental gym to get you in mental shape, I think the first step would be to strip away the unnecessary. It said that 80% of what is in people's closet, they don't use. 80% of people's clothes, they don't use. 60% of the square footage in people's house, they don't use. Waste weighs on the mind. And think about that, okay? Zakia, love and respect to Alaska. It's very cold and dark in Alaska, but Zakia has the light of the Lord in her heart. and that's why she's always going to be all right. And she's trying to get her Nissan NV200. What's the update on that? Good job. RR, hey man, what's going on? RR, good to see you. Ice Jesus. Baltimore's in the house. What's up, Sam? It's very cold tonight. Bundling up. Ah, disaster. Good love to you, brother. And Buddy asked how to stay warm without heat. And I said, layer up. Good job. But I have exams tomorrow. Well, I'll pray for you, brother. I will. Mental battle right there. Ice Thesis will think mentally about his exams tonight. He will think in the morning when he wakes up. When Ice Thesis and when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you think is all the things you have to do. It's very overwhelming in the morning. Very overwhelming. That's why most people roll over. They want to go back to bed. There's a scripture that says if you keep your eyes open, there will always be food to eat. There's a scripture that says the lazy man turns over in his bed and eventually becomes poor. I remember that in the book of Proverbs. If you never read the Bible, where should you start the book of Proverbs? This is a basic book of wisdom. Now, should you get caught in religion and should you convert? No, I'm not. I'm just saying for me, you should do whatever you want. If you don't want to do that, watch free porn. I watch free porn too, so I'm not here to preach to you, but I'll do a little bit of it. And then he says, Josh next. Josh, what's going on? Illinois in the house. Josh, you got to get your ass to Florida. I know you want to get down here, man. He says, Josh says, I enjoy interviews. It's an exercise in confidence and personality. Yeah, that's true. Some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy competition. I was watching a trucker on YouTube, and he was getting excited to back up his big rig because he said that this is the part of the job that's challenging, and I like it. See, I don't like that. I don't like competition. I don't like challenging. I like to live a simple, easy life. I do things that are very challenging, very complex sometimes, but I like simple. They just don't pay you for simple things. Like if they paid people like to just like walk around the beach and listen to Sade, I would be rich. But they don't. They pay you to solve complex IT problems and infrastructure problems. So that's what you got to do. And but some people enjoy that competition. But what I've also found is people who enjoy that initial rush of the mind debate on the interview, they don't enjoy the agony of the monotony of every day showing up and then starting to do the same thing, and then they get bored and then they leave. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Some people need to be constantly challenged in different ways. But what's the next thing you need to know in your career? The next thing this guy at the fresh market asked the lady is, I see you were only with your last company for 6 months. Why did you leave? The number one thing that's going to come up when you go on a job interview is they're going to look at your past work experience. They're going to see how long you stayed with companies. They want to see that. Like if they see like you jumped companies every 6 months or that's a negative. There's some stipulations, some job interviews, they want you to be with one company for at least 5 years or else they won't even look at you. And then they want to know, why'd you leave? So this lady had said to a young girl, she said she left because she was planning on going to college in September. She left Home Depot in July. She was planning to go to college in September, but then she decided not to go. Something happened, and now she's looking for a job again. That happens. No shame. But they ask. You have to be prepared to answer why you left your last job on any job interview. Never forget that. And never forget that when you're tempted to quit. If you don't have another job, but you think you may get laid off because they're going to downsize, let it go all the way to the point you get downsized unless you can secure another job. Because you look better off if you stayed and eventually they lay you off and at least it's explainable on why you left. But if you know your company is getting ready to downsize, you need to proactively, look somewhere else. I mean, you have to be wise. But I'm sharing with you some life insights and some things I see along my journey. Silent River. Good point. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Free to be me. Peace to you, Sam. Thank you, brother. And thank you for the word of encouragement last night on the comment after the live feed. I appreciate that. Luke, what's up, brother? What's up, Sam? Sending you some positive energy. Well, I appreciate that. It's so hard to stay mentally positive. Very true. And motivated. Very true. Hard to stay positive and motivated. That's very true. When you have past thoughts of hurts. Very true. That try to always creep in your heart and mind. Very true. So how do you help? You got to let go. Not easy. You have to learn the discipline of letting go. As soon as you have a negative thought, as soon as you have an old memory of something bad, you have to immediately disengage that thought. Let go. Not easy, but that's what you have to do. Let go, let go, let go. All right, let go. There was a movie, I think, called The Pacific Rim. And it was about, it was taking place in the future, and people hooked themselves up to like these electrons or some type of like wires that go to their mind, and they control like robots that fight in the battlefield. And there was this rookie lady who was going to be like, she was going to control the robot through her mind. But when they hooked up the machine to her mind, she couldn't get in sync with the robot and her teammate, because when they hook you up to this machine, it's very intimate in the mind, and your mind can get stuck on a bad memory. And that's what happened. She couldn't control the robot. She couldn't get in sync with her teammates because her mind kept latching on to old bad memories. She had a memory of her father and her this doing this and that, and she couldn't let go of it. And that was prohibiting her from her controlling the robot in a free-flowing way. And then she was like losing the battle. And there's a life lesson there. Don't latch on to old memories. Not easy. When I'm walking down the beach, there's plenty of times like I want to latch onto an old memory of the way things used to be in my life or my dog. And not even because I liked it, but just because like there's a seduction to think about how life has passed, and just that everything gets different and everything keeps getting different, and that it's all like a little bit meaningless. And there's a seduction to latch on to that. And you got to let go. And you got to stay present. Not easy, but this is a mental game. This is why people have mental breakdowns, because you see what I'm explaining to you. This all happens in the mind every day with everyone. Now, some people will share this, some people, but this is a mental battlefield out there. And very dangerous. You're starting to warm up. Tonight, or next couple of days, it'll get back into the high 70s in South Florida for the most part. And I'm excited about that. But it was nice to sleep in cooler weather. And it's still pretty cool at night. Love to you, Luke. Doug, I have been working while going through college or working full-time since 1981. So you get burnt out. I understand that. Talk about endurance. It is endurance. In America, the full retirement age to collect Social Security is basically, at this point, 67 years old. And you still have to pay a supplemental medical coverage, meaning that Medicare covers about 80% of your coverage. You still need to have a supplemental for the other 20%. Average life expectancy, 78. Full retirement age, 67. You can take retirement as early as 62 for Social Security, but you take a huge penalty. You can take out your 401k without a penalty at the age of 59 and a half at this time, but you still have to pay regular federal and state tax, but you won't get charged that extra 10% penalty. But as long as you can, unless you're really in a good financial thing, you got to keep income coming in. Some way you got to have income flow. Because believe me, I live as simple as most people will never live as simple as I live. I live in my car I have for 2 years, my Jeep Renegade, one of the smallest cars in the market. I live out of one bag of clothes, and that's everything I own in this entire world. And I've owned a house for 15 years, so I can speak from both sides. And what I could tell you is, even living as simple as I live, and I could cut my monthly budget in half, I do not think you can live a decent life making below $1,000 a month. I don't. And you always need income. You always do. And I know people that don't work, and they're trying to get, whether it's disability, whether it's some type of government assistance. And let me tell you something. If you've ever had real life experience on somebody trying to get assistance from the government, like whether they're claiming a disability or whatever, they make you jump through hoop after hoop, and it's a never-ending process. It's a job that you can have a mental breakdown dealing with the system and trying to get assistance. You could. I've seen it. And it's set up like that. It's set up to kind of like discourage people from. The system is set up to make you work until you can't. Now, look, I'm not a proponent of that. I believe in a basic universal income for just human dignity. We print money. I mean, I would like to see at least $1,500 a month for everyone. Get rid of the bureaucracy. I see somebody right now going for disability. how many people and how many different courtrooms and lawyers and all that stuff they've been through. The whole bureaucracy of it is a waste of money and a waste of time. Just give everyone $1,500. That's my opinion. I know some people disagree. I know. But, so look, when people argue, even though I preach these things and sometimes come across like, look, if it was up to me, I would make life easier on people, not harder. But I understand not everyone agrees with that. And then he says, I am proud of what I've done. You should be, brother. You're good. Beyond all that, Doug, you've been a positive person, man. Like, you left some great positive, uplifting comments to me. I mean, that's what you should really be proud of. I know you disagree with me, like, on some political stuff, because I know you voted for Trump, and you know I bash him sometimes. But you also know that I respect that. I understand why Trump got elected, and I understand that he brings some good things to the table, and he helped the country in some ways. But I know sometimes when I speak roughly about him, I know for people who voted, I know that's very tough to hear. And, you've hung in there, and I appreciate that, because I try to be fair, but I got to be me. I got to be both. And it all depends what night you catch me and how fired up I am, but love and respect. And then he says, he's proud of what he's done. Could you do another 30 years? Well, that's an interesting question. Could I do another 30 years of work? Right now, I'm 38 years old. I pretty much have to do another 38 because I'm pretty much got to work till 67. Unless, like, something, even if YouTube would take off, I mean, you can't depend on it. My goal was I was really trying to make money, with stocks, but you can't depend on that. And if anything, you end up losing money. And there's no magic answer. And I like dependability. I've had my own business. It's not necessarily dependable. And I thought about that today. When I had my own electrical contracting business, I didn't like it because your phone is always ringing with customers, which is good. After a while, you actually like that as far as like you have customers, but I worry about that. Like, I want to do good for the customer. I can't turn it off. And I didn't really enjoy electrical work. And I didn't really feel comfortable just running the company and having other people work for me because I wasn't passionate about the business. But the things I'm passionate about, very hard to make income. I mean, I'm passionate about this. I'm thankful for this opportunity to do YouTube and make a little side money off it. But I'm more of a creative person. But at this point, I mean, I would see myself working till at least 67 unless something would break. I'm trying to do different things to make it work. But, the only saving grace I have is that I live a very simple life and I don't have any. That's why I won't get another pet, because it's a liability. It's a financial liability. It's something I would have to get another. I would spend $400 a month on my dog. I enjoy spoiling my dog. Like, I'm not going to, Now, I see a couple nomads down here. There's a guy from California. He goes to Starbucks every day, and he's got his dog with him. He takes his dog right out there. He lives a very simple life. He probably spends less a month than me, unless he's going to the strip club at night making it rain, and that's possible. I've seen people you wouldn't believe. But I saw a girl today, too, living out of her car. She was from North Carolina. She was taking a shower or she went to, she got all her belongings. She went to a public shower by the beach to take a shower. So it's plain people live a simple life. But again, even a simple life, food is a big expense, gas, but food is the biggest expense. Food is the biggest expense, in my opinion. If shit really hit the fan, you live on rice and beans, or then just live. I've done that. You can do that. So I don't know. But I would say another 30 years. Do I have the mental capacity to do it out of a breakdown? I guess I do. I don't want to. But I feel better mentally now having less things. If I still have my house, and that's why I didn't get a dog, if I still have more pets, and I still have all those responsibilities, I wouldn't be in a good mental place. If I was still living in New Jersey, I wouldn't be in a good mental place. So you feel that, and that's why I made different decisions. And that's also the grace of God. I recognize that. And look, in life, not only you have to avoid a mental breakdown. Yeah. Like, it's not only like, are you tough? Like Rocky used to say. Rocky was a great American movie with Sylvester Stallone. And in one of the movies, in the older one, when he was teaching his son a life lesson, he goes, life isn't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. And so part of life is not just being tough mentally. Part of life is trying to position yourself so when you get hit by life, you don't have a mental breakdown, avoiding a mental breakdown. And for me, that's a simplified life. Like God forbid, I've been there where they come to you right at Christmas, say you're laid off or something bad happened, or you have a big expense you didn't expect. So you position your life. I live a simple life. I still work because I know I'm young. I got years left, and so I position my life a certain way that if certain foreseeable things happen, at least I'm not totally devastated. I won't have a mental breakdown. Now, can the unforeseeable happen and you get broken? Any of us can get broken at any time, no matter how strong. But you have to try to avoid a breakdown. You do. Because believe me, the hits of life are coming and they never stop. And that's the part of life that starts to get to you, where you realize the hits never stop. You realize you have to wake up every day and you have to deal with all the overwhelming thoughts. And those hits take a toll. It's like, that's why like a lot of time in boxing, people like to go to the head, because you can see when you bust somebody's head and they start to bleed and it looks like you're winning the fight. But many times in life, a lot of boxers learn to go to the body, because even though you can't see like someone hurt, when you go to the body, you eventually wear that person down and then they open themselves up and then you just totally finish them off. And that's the breakdown. And every day in life, you get the body blues. Oh, you got to wake up, you got to get dressed. Like just now, waking up, knowing I don't have to waste 45 minutes waking up in my house, straightening up my house, getting in the garage, opening up my garage door opener, getting out, closing my garage door opener, putting out the garbage, going to the coffee shop. I already wake up, all that's done. I don't have it. But before I got rid of all my belongings, for me, that was a body blow. Every morning, body blow. And that's starting to break me down. And I said, oh shit, I got to get out of this life. And so that's just my experience. So everyone's different. Luke, this mind is a crazy thing. Oh, very much so. Very, very, the mind, human brain, is one of the most complicated things in the world. The brain puts together the computer chip. The brain makes the computer. So there's brains out there that are very, mine is a crazy thing. I wish there was a reset button just to cleanse it from all negative thought. Good comment. Some people say meditation. Some people say praying. Some people say going for a walk. I believe in that. I believe in all things, mind, body, and soul. You have to do good self-care. That's a level of a cleanse. It's a level of a reset. It doesn't eliminate all the pain, but it takes away some. Walking, spirituality, however you're going to define it, good relationships, and living simply. That's the best reset. But I think about that. I had a friend of mine who I actually talked to today. I consider him a friend, a co-worker and a friend. And he had said that term to me, always stuck out. He had a child, and his child struggled with drugs. And his child was able to, by the grace of God, at least overcome it for the time. It may always be a lifetime battle. I know plenty of people in my own family that have drug problems. It's a lifetime battle. But he said his son was able to overcome this drug addiction. And he had told his son, you have a reset in life. And I thought that was a powerful word. And he told his son as best he could. I mean, it's very tough to be a parent because you worry about your children. And even if you're rough, you want the best for your children. But I think he gave him good advice. Just be mindful. You only get so many resets in life. I believe we get second chances, sometimes third. Sometimes our chances run out. Ultimately, for all of us, though, it's by the grace of God. And that's why you got to have compassion. But it's an interesting thing. Luke, please try to stay positive. Amen. Well, Luke, I love you, brother. Luke, I love you, man. Luke, I always try to stay positive. Good job. Everyone, give a thumbs up to Luke. I appreciate that. Samantha, please be praying for our country and freedom. Well, I pray for humanity because, our country is, if we are really believers in God, we pray for everyone. And so I'm not really big into patriotism. I I love America, but I love humanity, and I do America right by being a positive citizen, treating my fellow citizens right, and ensuring basic freedoms. And that's what I do. I work, I pay my taxes, I abide by the laws, I don't hurt people. Um, and everyone has their own ways of thinking, of interpreting certain laws, of different things. But look, I wish the best for everyone, and I don't wish harm upon anyone. So I'm with you on the overall mindset. Glenn O. The nudie bar can be a great place for stress relief. Well, I tried that. It's true. For a while, it's good, but it does end in a disaster. But there was a season of my life where the strip club was a blessing. So I understand that. Samantha. She says, please be praying for our leaders and president. I do. I prayed for Barack Obama. I prayed for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump. I agree with some things he did. I don't agree with others, just like Barack. I voted for him, but I didn't believe in some things he did. I believed in others. None of them are perfect. But I do have a problem with people who say pray for Trump, but they didn't pray for Obama. So there's an issue there for me, because it shows, I do have a problem with people who say stand up for the Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms, but they don't stand up for the First Amendment, which is the freedom to protest, which means you can kneel during a national anthem. That's the First Amendment right in the Constitution. So if people didn't, even if they disagreed with them, if people didn't stand and allow Colin Kaepernick and all the NFL players to kneel, they did not stand with the fellow Americans for the First Amendment right, then I disagree with them. I don't want harm upon them, but because he has the right to do that under the first Constitution. You can disagree, you don't like it. So, those comments, I understand what you're saying, but they also bring me a red flag. And also, it's like a level of, it sounds like you're caught in a political world. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people like it. For me, you got to be careful. I mean, like any world, like a religious world, that can bring a breakdown. Because politics, life, there's a level of contentiousness, and no one politician is right. Obama wasn't 100% right. Trump is not 100% right. No one's 100% right. But overall, I'm encouraged. Look, we're blessed. We live in the best time ever. If you look at the context of history and where this country was 100 years ago, and where society and where humanity was, we're in a better place. We got a lot of issues though still. But we're in better places. Things are overall peaceful, but there are places in the world that aren't. So, and the world is always subject to how you're living. Like if you're laid off right now and you don't have work, it doesn't matter that the stock market's close to all-time high. There's a recession going on and you're in pain. And if you're like my grandparents came here from Italy. So right now, if you're trying to become a citizen and you don't have an easy process, and you weren't a hot girl that married Trump, you want to not only know that there's going to be a wall on the border, you want to know that there's going to be immigration reform to make it an easier process to get legal paperwork. So what legislation has passed? In the first 2 years when Trump was the president, he had a majority Congress that was Republican. He's a Republican. The only legislation he passed was corporate tax reform, not healthcare reform. They tried that, they failed. Not immigration reform. No minimum wage, nothing. The only legislation was corporate tax reform. That's facts. He is the wealthiest president in the entire history of the United States. If you add all the other wealth of all the other presidents, he's more wealthy than all of them. And he has not shown his tax returns. He demanded that Barack Obama show his birth certificate, but he refuses to show his tax returns. I have a problem with that. Is it showing respect to the office to ask someone to show their birth certificate? When they tripled the stock market basically tripled under Barack Obama. But that's fine if he wants to do that, but then he should also then show his tax returns. Because follow the money. But everyone's corrupt. Hillary was corrupt too. So I believe that. And that's why I'm not totally like, just close your eyes and, vote for. I understand that. Hillary had her issues, no doubt about it. And she pandered. And I think what I like about Trump was he broke some political correctness, and he's speaking a little bit of, truth to power. And I think that's good. But like everything in life, society struggles with balance. And that's, where we at. But overall, I'm encouraged. And overall, I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. I don't believe it, because I don't believe like that's good for anybody. But that's my overall thoughts. I mean, I address it. I don't beat around the bush. That's how I feel. Some people probably feel different, but that's all right. Luke, we got to a fight and keep pushing forward. Yes, got to fight and keep pushing forward. Grace of God be with you. And stay true to our heart and dreams. Luke, I love you, man. I love my brother. There's some positive people out there, man. There's some negative. There's more positive than negative people. But if you meet 10 people and 9 people tell you you look great, but one person says you're fat and ugly, what do you think about all day? You think about the one person that says you're fat and ugly. You know, once in a while, I have people that troll the channel, and they come in, they give a bunch of thumbs down, but they're still subscribed, and they still join them. I'm a small channel, so they obviously know when I upload videos. They come in just to... But I get the majority of people that watch me are positive and supportive, and they thumbs up the video. So I have to remember that. There are like some people that have 10 different fake profiles, and they come and they try to mass thumbs down it. You know, anytime you use your creativity, you open yourself up to criticism. And the one thing we can learn from trucking, you got to be confident to overcome that, because if you're not confident in that, you'll have a mental breakdown and you will not use your creativity. But if you're too confident, pride comes before the fall. And then even though you're using your creativity, you have no empathy, you have no compassion. And if you don't have that, you don't have anything. I don't care if you win. I don't care if you win. If winning is everything, we're in a sad place in humanity. If you believe win at all costs, sad place. I remember there was a baseball player, I don't remember who it was, but he had that quote that says, not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game. And I remember I had a necklace that said that because I really enjoyed that saying. Again, I'm not really competitive where I feel I have to win. I like to see other people win. I want to win in life, but like I'm not like cutthroat. And some people are. I mean, God makes people different ways. And like to be the best, you almost have to be, and I know, like when I was like getting in fighting shape, and when I was at a certain, like, you have to be so intense. But you have to be careful, because when you're so intense and when you're in like fighting shape, and when you have to almost have a mindset of cutthroat, like I win at every cost. Because if you don't, you know, it's like, you know, you're just chilling. But that human nature struggles with balance. Buddha's whole thing was enlightenment comes through balance. Balance, hard thing to find, man. Antonio. Hello. Hey, Antonio. Good to see you, brother, man. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you for being positive. I appreciate that. Silent River. Yes, we do, Luke. Yes, we do. I like that. Ice thesis. Can't wait to go on break for Christmas. I hear that. We'll be spending it with my mom. Well, that's positive, brother. I talk to my mom every day. I call her. She's getting older. She's 70. I know there's some people in here who are 70 plus. I don't know. I don't think I'll go up north for Christmas. Is it possible? Look, your parents can pass away at any time. Anyone can pass away at any time. But I've always feel that I spent enough quality time. God has given me a long enough time with anyone that I'm okay with it. You'll never be fully okay with it, but I think about that. And that's how, too, I make decisions. Like, would I be at peace if I never saw someone again? I want to see people again. But you'll never do anything in life if you wait till people die to live. That's not the way to live life. You don't stay in a town because you're going to wait for somebody to die. You don't, I mean, in most cases, there's exceptions, but you understand what I'm saying? You got to be very mindful of this. Doug, Sam, it's funny, but showing up is my generation's strength. We had to. There was no other choice. I find it a selling point in today's job market if I can just get in the door. Well, I understand that getting in the door is the hardest part. You know, the previous generation also, though, they had unions, they had pensions in many parts of society. They had the automotive industry, all the different things, and affordable housing in the 70s and 60s, even if you adjust inflation, because they didn't have the 30-year mortgage. They didn't have 7-year car loans. And then as mortgages got longer, as mortgages got to 30 years, as car loans got to 5-7 years, people started buying more. And pensions went away, annuities went away. And so that's why statistically, under all different types of presidents, Republican and Democrat, over the past 20 to 30 years, the middle class is shrinking. Statistics show it. Doesn't matter who's the president. And more people are controlling most of the wealth. More people are living on the bottom, and what you're having is a smaller middle. The middle class is the only thing that separates America from every other country. In every other country, pretty much, no matter what the MO is of it, it's haves and have-nots. The only thing that makes America the land of the opportunity is the middle class, is that you have a transition period. You can go from poor to middle and maybe even one day upper. It's the opportunity level. But if you eliminate the middle, you have no transition. Either you're always going to be poor or you're always going to be elite. And then the only thing in between that is complete chaos and overthrowing of governments. That's why do people overthrow governments? Because it's nothing to do with religion and all that. You think it does, but only because you're sold that. It has to do with people get fed up with having nothing. And they feel like they're being oppressed, whether it's physically or financially, and they got nothing else to lose. So they say, fuck it, let's get rid of them. So that's what the middle class does. It's a buffer. It's a transition for both, to have opportunity. That's why people migrate here. That's why there's immigration. That's why my forefathers came here. That's why other people, because it's a land of opportunity. That's what the Statue of Liberty says. Give me your poor, give me your broken. That's what it says. And so, as that shrinks, future leaders of this country have to figure out how you ensure there's a level of dignity. Because with technology, in the industrial era, there was a different type of job. There was manufacturing, etc. In the technology era, efficiency is key. So, yes, there's technical jobs, but there's less jobs and there's less people that are needed on the assembly line. And so the next leader, forward-thinking leader, not somebody who's trying to go backwards and make America like it was. You can't. You can't make your life like it was. Life is like a river. You can never touch the same spot twice. All leaders know that you have to think about how life is in the future and plan for it. You can't think about going backwards. You can't. You can't go back to high school. You can't go back to your first marriage. You can't go back to when your children was 13. You can't go back to when you wish you weren't upset with your dog. You can't go back to when you wish you didn't fall for the girl that had the leopard skin skirt. You can't go back. All you can do is go forward. And so that's why there has been discussion across the world about universal basic income and different things like that. Because at some point, it does get to a point in society where you have to ensure a level of basic, and believe me, it won't even be debatable. Like, I know now it's debatable, but the people who really have the financial pull in the world do not want the system to collapse. So if the system, like some people say, like, oh, I'm going to wait for the system to collapse. The system will never collapse because the people who are really wealthy, they have too much to lose. Like, if you have nothing, you don't care if it collapses. But the people who have a lot, they'll never let it collapse. Even if they had to eventually, give a universal basic income, they would give it. Because they wouldn't want people, with guns on their front door in their gated community. I mean, it'd be crazy. And if it ever got destitute, believe me, it would get crazy. So you don't want that. And so, but human society, human nature is always, people will push it all the way to the edge. So right now what's happening is companies are squeezing maximum efficiency. They have as least as employees as possible. They try to pay as low as possible in most situations. And that line keeps getting tested and the middle class keeps shrinking. And then eventually, if it shrinks too much, then what you have is you have no way to get poor to middle to upper. You only have the once in a while, somebody beats the odds. And then eventually what you have is no harmony in society. If you don't have harmony, is created through balance. That's pretty much what harmony is. Your life is in balance. Every time your life is out of balance, there's no harmony. So if balance gets out of skew and harmony is gone, then, there'll be stuff to deal with. ST, I'm with you, my man. Well, I appreciate that, ST. Thank you. Doug, I'm glad. Let me have a hydration break, guys. Love and respect. Let me share my own video. I'm also going to give my own video a thumbs up. I've learned to do that. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a thumbs up and share your own video. That's for anything in life. You got to learn to pat yourself on the back. Why? I just think it creates good momentum. And I think if you don't pat yourself on the back, who do you expect to do it? If you don't encourage yourself, who do you expect to do it? There was a whole point in the Bible where there was a lesson, like some things in the Bible you don't take literally, you take as a lesson, as a overall, like, how you look at life. That there was a King David who had to encourage himself because everyone had turned on him. But through his own fault too, because he had committed adultery, he got somebody killed. So, but he had learned in life when like everyone is against him, he had to encourage himself. He had to thumbs up his own video. He had to share his own video. That's what you got to learn to do in your own life, in your own way. It's a lesson. Don't take it all the way literal. But I did just literally on my laptop thumbs up my video and share it. That's true. Doug says, I'm 56 with a friend, limited amount of years to go for full-time and even part-time work. I'm lucky if I had 30 more years of working. I don't know if I could do it knowing what I know today. Well, how do you have a mental breakdown? By looking too far ahead, by getting too overwhelmed. How do you avoid a mental breakdown? How do you get out of a bad rut? You put one foot in front of the other. So you do have to be forward thinking, and you do have to, but you also have to look, you can't get too overwhelmed with everything in life. Because if you start to plan out your entire life and you start to, that's how you get overwhelmed, and that's how you have a mental breakdown. One day at a time, one step at a time, and try to show up to your life every day. And in the morning, when you wake up, is the hardest. When you wake up and you have to go to work, you have to get your kids ready, or you got to go to gym, or whatever you do, you just got to remember, tune out all the noise and just show up, and then just take it one step at a time. Good job. Shelly, I'm challenged every day to keep my head on straight. I can understand that. I can. And not break down. Shelly, I'm with you. Son with a mental illness, God bless you, has been on one hell of a rough road, but I'm still okay. Shelly, I love you. I appreciate you sharing that. I do. Thank you, Shelly. And prayers and love to you. Prayer emoji to you. One foot in front of the other. That's all I could tell you without being disingenuous. And I will pray for you, and I appreciate you sharing that. Fabulous. You are right. My anxiety causes me to cancel appointments. I understand that. Constantly and rescheduling them over and over. Fabulous. Great comment. That's a great comment. That will deliver someone. Let me read that again. Fabulous. You are right. My anxiety causes me to cancel appointments constantly and rescheduling them over and over. I totally understand that. Good comment. Isis. Work is necessary, but some people are afraid of embarrassment. Great point. That's true. That's to succeed in life, you got to be willing to be embarrassed. But being embarrassed is very mentally hard. That's why most people have insecurities. That's why many girls get plastic surgery. That's why many girls, you will never see a real photo of them again without their filter. Even me, when I take pictures, like I'm a little conscious of, am I getting the right angle? That's not easy. And that can cause a mental breakdown. Most people will get plastic surgery for their physical body, but they'll never get like mental plastic surgery. Right? So it's weird. I don't know. It's very interesting. And he says, work is necessary, but some people are afraid of embarrassment, including myself. Thank you for sharing. Sometimes, but it's always necessary to show up. Nobody, for the most part, gets in trouble by showing up. Ice Thesis, you're very wise, brother. Gleno. Depression and sleep. Excellent point. Sleep is the number one thing you need to do to ensure good mental health and avoid a mental breakdown. Totally true. In the army or in like whatever type of when you get into like real battlefield stuff, one tool that is used as a form of torture is sleep deprivation. The lack of sleep is so critical that militaries throughout the world use that as a torture method. Because it breaks down the mind. Sleep deprivation, the lack of sleep can break down your mind and break you down. How much sleep does the average adult need? 6 to 8 hours per night. Every day I look at my clock. I make sure I'm in bed sleeping by 10, 11 o'clock, the latest. And then I try to make sure I get 6 to 8 hours per night. I sleep in my car. I get 6 to 8 hours per night. I have for 2 years. Sometimes when I had a house with $1,000 mattress, I didn't get that good sleep. Why? Because of stress. Stress plays a part. Now I have less things to think about. I sleep a little bit better. It's true. And I'm comfortable. And I watch a little free porn. All right. And then he goes, depression and sleep deprived can certainly cause mental breakdowns. Great point. Eating healthy matters too. Eating and sleeping occasionally. Orgasm, yes, that's true too. No, let's not lie. Is the key to a healthy mind. Leno, you figured out life, brother. Good job. Give your Shih Tzus extra treat tonight. Tina Marie, hey Tina Marie. I applaud you for continuing to show up regardless of the highs and lows of life. Tina Marie, thank you. Thank you. Keep striving for balance and take the wins as they come. That's a great point too. Take the wins when you can get them. If you had a good day, any small win, celebrate it. You know, that's the one thing I want to acknowledge all the mothers and all the parents, maybe fathers too, that take time to celebrate their children. They singing happy birthday is a celebration. Now that's a big one, but I had some friends that didn't celebrate birthdays for religious reasons, but whatever. But the parents that celebrate, like even some of the parents, they said like, you know, my kid's on the honor roll. I say, your kid's in 3rd grade. Everybody's on the honor roll. You know, as long as you could tell what color is what. But all right, I don't want to get negative. What I could tell you is celebrate small wins. Good job. Antonio, when I was younger, it never bothered me. But man, you're right. I have a great job, but I just don't want to work. I totally understand that, brother. I want to travel. Well, I understand that. Be in Florida, yes. That's what I'm doing. I love that. My father was right. You are going to change and get old. Well, brother, you got wisdom. That's a good job. AJ, that's my brother from Miami, living full-time in his Toyota Prius, trading stocks. Now, if I wish I was close. I was close to living off it, but one day maybe, but it's very dangerous, very risky. AJ says, one of my challenges is that I get bored easy. I understand that. And then you trade again. I understand that. I get bored even when I'm doing well at something. I understand that. That's human nature is overreach. That's what Bradley Cooper taught us in I Am Limitless movie. And that's what happens. Like, you know, you got a good trade, you got a good win, you made a few $100s, maybe a few thousand, you still go in again. And you got to be careful. But even, it's tough, man. But again, now we're talking a little bit, we can talk anything in life. Anything in life is to go into the cookie jar one too many times. Anything in life is you text someone one too many times, like you push your luck. I remember a couple girls like, oh, I'm pushing my luck with this one. Human nature is we reach until we get our hands spanked. So it's not easy. Not easy. Antonio, when you get older, you get fed up. I agree with that. I see that. Things change. Yep, that's true. Mind changes. That's true too. Mentally, you change. So true. You nailed it. Good job. Isis. The people right now who are watching the Lifetime channel with a cartoon of ice cream getting ready to have 4 hours of sleep in 2 weeks, they will sign up for the gym and never show up. That's true. Good comment. But I also have compassion. My mom's been overweight most of her life, and I've struggled with my weight. So you're right. And look, I tell people, look, if you want to get your health together, stop the BS. And that's kind of what Isis is saying. And I agree with that. Look, if you're going to start, you get in shape now. You know, you go to your refrigerator right now, you throw out all the mint chocolate chip ice cream. Now, yes, an hour later, you may be digging back in that garbage and eating the rest of that melted ice cream. I did that. But you got to keep doing that until you figure it out. That's what I did. And same thing with cigarettes. I used to take cigarettes, break them, throw them in the trash. Then an hour later, I'm smoking a butt. You got to keep doing that until you go forward. Grace to God. I understand. Jake, you get in shape before the holidays, not after the holidays. Never forget it. And people park next to me even when there's empty parking lot. Good job. Jacob. Hey, Sam. How are you doing tonight? Overall, I feel good. How are you? I'm thankful. I've already had as many mental breakdowns as Donald Trump has dollars. Well, you don't have much then. Because Donald Trump lives on debt. He even says it. That's why he doesn't show his tax returns. If you look at his past interviews, he doesn't live on cash. He lives on debt. He knows that. And then when he piles up too much debt, he files bankruptcy. That's what he did 6 times. That's what real rich people do. They leverage, and then when they can't leverage anymore, they have all that debt under a business entity, and then they let that business go bankrupt, and then they open another one. But the only way you can do that is if you know how to play the game. Trump, he knows how to play the game, and that's the game. The game is you move money around. In a capitalist system, it's not about you have the most cash in the bank. In a capitalist system, it's learning how to move money around. It's all an illusion, guys. All an illusion. Never forget that. And he knows how to play that game. He's a great magic trick. Deception, the rabbit's coming out of the hat here, but just making you look at something else, but he's pulling something else out of here. So this is, but that's really getting deep down the dark hole. But I know what you're saying. Love him. Thank you for sharing that, brother. I understand what you were saying, and I appreciate you sharing that, and I got love for you. Joe G commented on my Instagram today. I saw that. My Instagram is the word inspire, the symbol _38. The word inspire _ number 38. Joe G commented, I did a picture from the beach. Joe G says, it's a constant struggling dealing with my coworkers. I can understand that. I'm blessed at this time in my life to work with pretty much some pretty good people, and I'm very thankful for that. But I've been there where I haven't, and that is one of the hardest parts about a job is working with people. Doesn't matter if you're working at Fresh Market or corporate world. I've been in both. And that's one of the things I heard that guy ask that girl in the interview today. He goes, there's two things you're going to be measured on. You showing up consistently and you getting along with your coworkers. He didn't ask her any technical questions. Like, I remember there was one job interview I had, and I had studied up on like some electrical theory and different, and I was like, I'm going to, and it was like for one of my first, like, not necessarily a manager, but it was like a manager type position. And I go, they're going to ask me a lot of questions about technical stuff. And it wasn't anything technical. It was all about the higher you get up as far as like, well, whether it's a management or leadership, it's less technical and it's more relationship orientated in keeping a group of people together and functioning in a forward momentum to complete an objective. And so, you got to be mindful of that. And, so it's interesting. Jacob, I got my GED study book in the mail. All right. Congratulations on that. Got 735 pages to read. That's overwhelming. Over and over again in the next 6-8 months. Laugh out loud. Well, thank you for sharing. How do you tackle that one step at a time? I failed my electrical exam 3 times. I did take it 3 times. If you fail your GED 3 times, take it again. I know somebody who came here from your way, failed on their driver's license, almost didn't want to take it again. She just took it again. She got it. Love and respect to her. It's hard to recover after a failure. Hard. But that's what it takes. It takes you getting back up. And that's why most people struggle with going forward in life, because it's how much you can take and keep moving forward. Not easy, but, Jacob, I believe in you, and I could tell by the comments you have left on this channel that you'll figure it out. Just do the best you can, brother. I got love for you. Fabulous. Life should not be just going to work. I agree with that. And paying bills. I agree with that. When you get older, you begin to realize being a slave to punching a clock 9 to 5 is turning us into all robotic zombies. Well, I can't wait till we have robots, but I agree with you. But the only thing I can say is you got to work, because if you don't work, the worst thing in life is you got no money coming in. I've been there. It sucks. So I agree with you, Fabulous. All I'm trying to say is poverty ain't the answer. And until they come up with a universal income, or until robots do all the work, which I'll be the first one to support that, I just say, look, you got to do what you got to do, because I want people's life to be easier. I want my life to be easier. That's why I go to work every day. If I didn't have to, and if I was rich enough to give out money to everybody, or if I was the president, believe me, everyone would be taken care of. Why? Because I agree with your statement. But I also understand how life really is. James, Sam, I've been working 10 days in a row. I've been there. And now dying for a day off. I understand that. You need them every week. Well, I agree with that. I got caught in that blood money cycle where I was an hourly worker and I would work 7 days a week sometimes, and sometimes 12-hour shifts. That's when too I said, look, that's when I first realized, like, damn, you can work overtime, you can get double time, you can make a lot of money, but you could have nothing to show for it if you just keep buying more stuff. It still took me years to fully get a minimalistic life, but I realized too that was blood money. And that causes sleep deprivation. We're not designed to work that many hours now, but we do sometimes in different work periods of our life. And as my brother Glenn said, part of a mental breakdown is sleep deprivation, lack of sleep. Lack of sleep, Depriving a person of sleep is used by military to inflict torture online to cause a breakdown. And when you work so much overtime, that's what happens too. You give yourself sleep deprivation. Now, there's a season where you may have to work a lot of overtime and pay your dues, but you have to be mindful that's not a sustainable way to live. You got to cut your expenses. You got to figure out how you can make that work. One of the best times in my life was I remember I had a job for several years that I worked 4 days a week. I worked 10 hours a day, so I still got 40 hours a week, but I worked 4 days a week, 10 hours a day, and I had 3 days off. I think the average person should not work more than 4 days. But right now I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do at different seasons, but you gotta go forward. I understand. Good comment. I'm tough. Slavery never ended. It just became racially and social economically blind. Well, to some extent, I agree with you. To some extent, I don't. Look, when slavery was actually against minorities and mainly African Americans in America, look, that ended. Okay, and that's a whole different thing than social economic slavery. Totally different. Just like Holocaust and all. That is real stuff that should not be compared to social economic differences and financial injustice. So that's why I'm always very cautious. That's a whole different way of life. Slavery, as far as physical slavery and as far as like any type of oppression, physical oppression of a group of people, is a totally separate thing. And that's here. Okay. And social economic is a way of oppression, but there is opportunity, but there's certain opportunity that's less. It's not enough to fully put somebody in a horrible situation, but it's getting there to a certain level. But it is a way of kind of subliminally controlling society to a certain level, and it's human nature of greed. But there is difference, a huge difference. But that's why I'm encouraged. When I look back, it's 2018 as I make this. If we go back 50, 70 years ago, those were real issues. And so we've come a long way, but we got to keep going forward. And then we got to be careful that now there's no physical slavery, that there isn't the social economic slavery, because, that could be an issue, but there's a difference. And I think, to be fair to the conversation, that's a difference. Glenn, I wish I could have cloned some of my past girlfriends. I wish I could have just had a robot wife. But then you got to change your oil. That way it wouldn't have been a painful separation. Well, I understand that. I've been there. When will you have a mental breakdown? When you go through a separation. I've been there. Remember the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy? He was one of the most confident guys ever. And he used to treat women with a little bit of disrespect. But then someone put the whip on him and they boomeranged it. And then he felt what it was like to get played. And he almost had a mental breakdown. He lost all his confidence. When you have a mental breakdown, that's what happens. You lose all your confidence. So what do you gain? You gain empathy. And that's important. And maybe at some point, even though I don't wish it on people, either having a mental breakdown or getting close to it will teach you one of the greatest life lessons: empathy, compassion. Hard to remember that. I have a reminder that goes off in my phone every day. It's what they call a recurring reminder. Every day I put in my phone a reminder that it never ends. Like, you can choose, when do you want this reminder to end? And I put never. Every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 7 o'clock at night, I have a reminder that says, Sam, remember how pain feels. Remember how pain feels. That's what the reminder comes up on my phone. And it's linked to my Google Gmail account. So even when I get a new phone, that reminder stays on my calendar for eternity. Why did I put that reminder in my calendar? Because it's not till I was at the verge of a breakdown in different areas of my life that I really experienced pain. I said, I can never forget what this feels like, or else I will lose compassion. But even with that reminder, I still sometimes forget. That's how powerful it is. Like, to forget pain. I mean, not that you want to remember pain, but you want to remember it to keep you compassionate and empathetic. Because it isn't just about win. If it's all about winning, if it's all about making the dollar, if it's all about being number one at all cost, then you will be, you know, you got to have empathy on people who have less or people who aren't as mentally strong as you. Now, I understand that people take kindness and abuse it. I understand that. So I understand the need to be firm. But it's a tough balance. And if you're going to be a leader, you're going to have to figure out that balance. Not easy. Chevy Life. Swamp Life. Swamp Ass in the house. Good to see you, Chevy Life. Good to see you, man. Glad to have you still here. I saw a Chevy Bolt today. A Chevy Bolt is an electrical car made by Chevy. I said, well, maybe instead of a Prius, maybe I get a Chevy Bolt. I don't know. We'll see. Joe Boss, 3 thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Love and respect to you, man. Glenn O, I stay away from religion. I ain't mad at you. I believe God is dead. Okay. Our world is unreasonable. I'm not mad at you. Why? Because I can have my faith and I can respect someone else's faith or no faith. And I love Glenn O. Even though, like, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus. That's my personal opinion. And I don't need to tear down Glenn O's opinion because we treat each other with respect. And that's all I care about. We vibe. Glenn O could tell me right now, like, he loves God, he loves Jesus. But if he was an asshole, I would block him. But he's telling me right now he don't believe in God, he don't like God or whatever, and we're still mad cool. Why? Because we vibe and we respect each other. So it doesn't matter like what set you claim, what religion or what non-religion. It's all a matter of how you treat others. So far, Glenn O's been good to me. I've been good to him. So if we can continue that, I really don't care. As long as we treat each other right, that's all I care about. Gina, I think I said it right. Please forgive me if I don't. Hey, Sam, how are you? Overall, I'm thankful. How are you? One question. Okay. What would you do if an asteroid was going to hit the Earth? That was like the Lock song, 24 Hours to Live. Remember that? Business as usual or make it rain in a strip club every day till end. And then laugh and have a great weekend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that makes me think of the 24 Hours to Live song. I don't know if that was on Puffy album or Locks. But if I knew an asteroid was going to hit, I mean, the only thing, I'm pretty much living a dream. The only thing I would do different is I just wouldn't go to work. At this point, it's all over. But I got to make sure, I got to calculate that the asteroid's going to hit before I run out of money. No, the asteroid's going to hit for all of us. Like my man AJ said last night, none of us are leaving this world alive. So eventually, whether it's an asteroid, a heart attack, or whatever, we're all going to die. We're all going to have the asteroid hit us. So, like, if I knew the asteroid was going to hit tomorrow, then I know I got enough money to make it to tomorrow. I'm definitely not going to work tomorrow. But if I knew the asteroid was going to hit 20 years from now, I got to go to work tomorrow. So nothing's going to change. But if the asteroid's hitting tomorrow, would I do anything different right now? No, I mean, I'm pretty tired. I mean, I'm still would go to my campground. The only thing different is I would light a campfire and probably stay up an extra 2 hours. I still want to light my campfire because I got to use that campfire wood before Friday because I'm changing campgrounds and I ain't putting that camp wood in my car. Look what I bought last night, guys. I don't know if I may cause like an Eddie Murphy fire. Now that's a fire. Look what I bought. Can I find? Because I tried to start a campfire, but I couldn't get the fire going. So guess what I bought? Lighter fluid. I hope I don't burn that damn thing down. Pray for me, y'all. But I got to get this firewood burning. Why? Because I'm not putting that firewood in my car, and I want to have a good campfire. Love and respect. Somebody give me a fire emoji. And then a guy running, because if I cause a fire, I'm getting the hell out of there. I hope I don't do that. Praise the Lord. Doug, Sam, I hear you. I have a plan. I'm applying for sales job. Then any full-time jobs, part-time jobs, temp jobs. I am ready to roll in January if unemployment runs out. All's good. I'm not mad at you. Good job, Shelly. Crushed hopes. I have had many, but still keep my head up best I can. Shelly. Heart emoji to you. I got love for you. Sophie, cat girl. I don't know where I want to live. I'm not mad at you. But I'm going to see a friend. Okay. Now, is he a tall guy with a nice ass? Mm-hmm. Fabulous. You are wealthy because you are free. Well, that's true. But if I didn't have any money and I went to the gas station to fill up my tank and I had no money, I wouldn't be free. Because believe me, every time I go to the gas station in Florida, you got to put your credit card in or cash, or nothing comes out of that fuel pump. So I wouldn't be free. I'd be stranded at a gas station. And then if I was stranded, eventually, like somebody come outside, like, look, you got to keep it moving, sir. And I said, I don't got no money there. So, well, you got to figure out something because you got to keep it moving. You got to have money. That's true. Gleno, my dogs just got a new grooming and Christmas sweater. I'm not mad at you. I buy dog biscuits. Good job. And Chewies all the time. Good job, Gleno. Dog treat emoji to you. Out of Illinois. Great thumbs up to catch you live again, brother. Out of Illinois, good to have you here, man. Thank you for staying with me. Jacob, mental strength gym? Question mark. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Sam, let's get rich. Well, believe me, if we can get, let's call this Planet Nomad or Planet Mental Fitness or something. Look, I only charge just like my Planet Fitness membership, $21.37 a month. You think we can get a lot of people to sign up? Let's do it. I'm not mad at that. Leno. Planet Fitness just dropped their first month to $8, then to $10 a month. That's with the silver card. Planet Fitness has two different types of membership. One they call the black card, the other they call the silver card. The silver card is basically $10 or $8 a month, but you can only go to one gym. You have a home-based gym, and that's it. The black card is you pay $20 a month or $22 a month, and you can go to any gym in the entire country. That's what I do. So it all depends on how you plan to travel, and I like that. Best gym best $21.37 I ever spent. They take it right out of your checking account every month. I didn't like that at first, but at this point, it's pretty legit. Fabulous. Minimalism and frugality is the way. That's true. I agree with that. Othie, hey, you eat rice? Not much anymore. Back in the day, I did. All I was saying, look, if the crap really hit the fan and I had to go back to, surviving, then rice, brown rice, not white rice, brown rice and beans would get you by. But I really don't eat much anymore. Ice teases. Good night, Sam. Good night to you. I'm getting ready for those midterms. I'm going to pray for you, brother. I love these videos. I love having you, man. And I enjoy these videos. I do enjoy these. I wish I could do this full time. And they help motivate me. Well, it helped me too. And getting here in the morning, no matter how hard. It's hard for me too. Believe me. Every morning, I'm like, damn, I'm going to have a mental breakdown. But I say, Sam, just show up. Good job. Love and respect to you. Yes, also. And pray for me on those exams. I will, brother. I will. Thank you. Tom. What's up, Tom? What's up, Sam? Snowing out in Utah. Disaster. Mountain biking season's over. Crying emoji. Well, love and respect to Utah. And love and respect to everyone out there. Thank you for sharing, brother. I'm sorry to hear that, man. My heart's with you. Now, I know Utah is a beautiful place, supposedly. And obviously you love mountain biking, so you're in the right place. Just not my thing. I like flat land. That's the truth. But good to see you, man. Love and respect to Utah. Gleno, you want to have a challenge, then chain up an 18-wheeler during a snowstorm. Oh, yeah, you're talking about trucking? Yeah, that is challenging. I've done it many times. If the road is open driving until you get good roads. No, look, I respect truck drivers. I do. It's an art. It's a true talent. I remember I used to watch the show Ice Truckers. Now, I know that was extreme, but just regular trucking, very hard. I don't even want to get an RV because I think that's a lot of work. Good job, Glenn. Shelly. Strip away the unnecessary. That's very true. I like that, Sam. Yeah, hand clap and heart emoji. Thank you, Shelly. Jacob. I love that movie. Which one did I say? I don't even remember. Thank you, Jacob. Basically, in a real life setting. Oh, anime in a real life setting. Okay. Andy G. Hey, Sammy. Hey, everyone. Andy G. Let's take a hydration break to Andy G. Good to see you, bro. Thumbs up to you. I want you to get in the habit of patting yourself on the back. All right? Giving yourself a thumbs up. Jacob, I put a link to that in the comments later, Sam. All right, I'll take a look. Thank you, brother. Gleno, I truly miss the 80s. I understand. Can't go backwards, though. I understand. Shout out to the movie Vision Quest. I want you to YouTube search the movie Vision Quest. I enjoyed that. That was from the 80s. Gleno, 1980s. I'm not mad at you. John, where do you work at? IT industry. At this point in my career, I work remotely. So as long as there's internet, I could work at Starbucks or whatever. But for most of my career, I've worked at an office. The past 10 years, I worked in an office in New Jersey. I started my career in construction, so I worked in different construction sites all throughout New York and some, all throughout New Jersey and some in New York. So I started working at 17. Right now I'm 38. The past 6 months ago, I got a job transfer. I work in the IT industry, and I could work anywhere where there's internet. I pretty much work on a laptop. So my career has evolved. There's been many seasons, highs and lows. That's kind of where I'm at now. At Illinois, I voted some type of an emoji for Trump. Okay, but bash him sometimes too. Yep, that's fair. I appreciate that. And same thing with Hillary or Obama or Bush. Uh, that's part of life. That's true. Good job, Jacob. I wasn't able to vote for Trump because I wasn't 18. Okay, at the time, but I would have. Okay, I respect it. I'm completely okay with listening to people bash Trump as part of free society. With love and respect. Even sometimes I do think they did Alex Jones wrong a little bit. I think he should probably still have the right to be on YouTube. But I mean, he did it to himself a little bit. Like, I know he's a very intelligent man, and I think sometimes he goes a little bit too much exaggeration just to sell. But I think he has something to offer to the conversation. Doug, politics wise, don't worry about me. I voted for Trump. I know. In my local elections, I voted Democrat. Okay, so you kept it balanced. I'm a gay man and a millennial. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. That's good. Good to know. I am really all over the board politically. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. No one worries me. Amen. Well, I appreciate that. And we have to always stand for our fellow citizen rights, including gay, lesbian, and all that. Equality is the bedrock of America. And if equality isn't there, and it wasn't always there in America, for women, for minorities, and for our gay, lesbians, brothers and sisters, I believe in that. Freedom of religion or freedom of no religion. Equality, I believe with all my being. Good job. Leno, free speech needs monitoring. Some people are downright nasty with comments. There's a balance there. You're not totally wrong here. I kind of agree with that. Gilbert. What's up, Gilbert? Sammy. Everyone, evening. Good evening to you, brother. Feeling good today. Good. I'm happy to hear that. I have made some big strides the past few days. Gilbert, I'm pulling for you, brother. You've been a blessing to me, and I want the best for you, brother. Thank you. Jacob, agreed, Glenn. Yeah, Glenn gave a good comment with that, and Glenn, thumbs up to you. Jacob, but we can't because, like Europe, with all politically correct, only free speech. No, you gotta be careful with too much political correctness, but but you also can't be too disrespectful that there's no conversation. This is a balance, Jacob. But if we can't go too far because my phone's glitching badly, say, okay, Doug, I'm listening to your message about taking hits like Rocky. Yeah, it's not easy. Because then even later on, I think in the next movie with Rocky, he was fighting and he said, he was telling himself, like, remember what you told your son? It's not about how he had to take his own advice. What's the hardest advice to take? Your own advice. That's true. What comes to my mind is what a good man I am, referring to you, my friend. You inspire me, so including me. Don't forget that. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Doug. Same back to you, man. Fox, guns, and gear. Hey, man. I hope the best, Sam. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope the best for you, too. Thank you. Joe Boss. To reset my mind, to recharge batteries, I go cycling 30 miles, 30 to 40 miles. Wow, I was just watching an interview with Lance Armstrong and Joe Rogan. Remember when he lied to everybody? But he was honest about it now, but that was a real disaster. It works for me. I ain't mad at that. Good job, Joe Boss. Jacob, thumbs up. Gilbert, I am proclaiming this first 2019 is going to be the year of the turnaround. I'm not mad at you. So mentally, get prepared now. Stay positive, stay focused, and move forward. Amen, Gilbert. Good job. Energy. I do feel I was given a second chance when I got drug and alcohol free 2 years ago and 6 months ago. Definitely don't take resets for granted. Annie G, thank you for sharing, brother. Good job. Gilbert, Annie G, congrats. Yep. Stay positive, stay focused, and move forward. Good job, guys. I love the sport. Annie G, thank you, Gilbert. Annie G, I want others to know that it's possible. Thank you for sharing. It's possible to come back after disaster. That's a good comment. I want to give others hope. Andy G, I'm not mad at that. Andy G, listen to this. If you're still in here, even if you fall again, there's still hope. You just put one foot in front of the other always. And I pray you don't fall again, but you know what I mean. Gleno, good night, Sam. Good night to you, brother. Love to your Shih Tzus. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming back, man. Jacob, hell, new cars like SUVs, trucks, large cars, 70K plus. Yeah. It's a shame considering in the 80s, 90s, it was like 6,000 to 7,000 a car. That's true. Well, the loans got longer and that allowed people to take out more debt because they go by the car payment, not necessarily how much the car is getting paid for. I think the average person should not spend more than $30,000 on a vehicle. Because the average person, 30,000, and that's a lot, should be the max retail sticker price. Doesn't matter what your payments are. Never buy a car unless you're making well over 100 grand, more than $30,000. I think that's a benchmark at this point in society. Gilbert, hit the thumbs up button, people. We got 53 in here and only 25 likes. Yes. And I know that's a little bit lagged comment, but please, if you watch this, please take the effort to click the thumbs up button and share the video. It's a free way to show your love and support. Thank you, Jacob. It's been liked by me, my dude. Well, I appreciate that. Sal, holy Hamandas. What a hot stream. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Thank you, Sal. Jacob, wish I could fall asleep. I understand that. I can never get to sleep when I want to. I understand that. The best thing I found for good sleep is wake up early, wake up by 7 a.m. max, take no naps. I almost took a nap after work today. Take no naps. Don't drink alcohol at night, and you should go to sleep like a baby. And if all else fails, watch a little free porn, masturbate, and go to sleep very quick. That's the truth, George. Love the idea, Sam. Fitness of the mind. Yes, $25 a month. Yeah, let's make some money too. New business. Have a good night, Sam. Thank you, George. Love and respect. Good to laugh, guys. Good job, Doug. I'm a bit under the weather. I'm sorry to hear that. To get more sleep tonight. Have a good one, Sam, and everyone else watching. Do something fun this weekend. I agree with that. Go out, sing karaoke. Yep. Microphone emoji to you, brother. Good job, Doug. Love to you, man. Neil. Hey, Neil. Hey, Sam. I know we all have to work, and that's fine. But you always have the one coworker is thinks they are the boss. I know, I understand that. Real pain in the ass. Yeah, I understand that. I breathe deep. Yeah, keep breathing. Sometimes very deep. Neil, I'm with you, man. I'm with you, Neil. Love and respect. Al, Illinois. Great knowledge and passion tonight. Thank you, Al, Illinois. I appreciate that. Black Sheep. Hey, Black Sheep. I find you to be one of the most relatable channels. Well, I don't take that for granted. Thank you. Just wanted to say that before you call tonight. Black Sheep, that means a lot, and I appreciate you taking the time to write that comment. Well noted, and thank you for everyone for the encouragement. Thank you, Judy. Hey, Jacob. Chevy Volts are not as durable. Not the Volt. I saw something called the Bolt. I don't know, though, but I think you're right. I think the Toyota Prius is more reliable. It goes, Prius GMC is moving most of their car making factories to China. Yeah, I saw that. I thought about that. Judy, I would make a huge spaghetti dinner. Oh, yeah, if you had 24 hours to live, I'm not mad at you. Astro is going to hit. Judy says lighter fluid is the best. I'm about to set something off at the campfire. Thank you. Tara. Oh, then she gave the cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. Yeah, that's the Wu-Tang money bag emoji. I'm with you on that. I listen to Ghostface all the time. Jacob, we can do it. Just need some good marketing. Marketing is everything. Sales is the heart blood of every business. That's so true. Nomad Mental Gym. Let's get it going. Well, we just did a damn. I can't believe I'm streaming for an hour and 42 minutes. We just did an hour and 42 minutes. I'm exhausted. I'm about to get off here. Zakia, the guy running, and then the campfire out of control emoji. Now that's a fire. Remember Eddie Murphy said that? Jacob. Alex Jones, greatest moment. They're putting chemicals in the water that turn the frogs gay. I remember when he said that. Crazy. I didn't like that. I don't have problems with the LGBT, but that line was hilarious to me. It was crazy. To me, the funniest moment was when Trump bombed Syria for the second time, and he got on YouTube. This was only like 8 months ago, and he said, "Fuck Trump, fuck his family." That was funny to me. AG, thanks for the kind words, Sammy. I got love for you, brother. AG, have a great night. Praise the Lord. Guys, thank you, and girls, thank you for everyone leaving a comment. Thank you for everyone sharing in this live stream. Thank you for everyone who gave the thumbs up. You guys, you're appreciated. Thank you. I gave it the best I got, and you guys gave it the best you got, I could tell. Have a peaceful night. Peace and love.